Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Justine Peter. Thanks for the suggestion, Justine. You asked, why do people clap when they're entertained? If you've ever found yourself clapping like your life depended on it after a great performance, or even awkwardly joining in because everyone else was doing it, you might have wondered, why is this even a thing? Well, today we're diving into the history, psychology, and downright hilarity behind this universal tradition. So, if you're ready to uncover why we smack our palms together like joyful percussion instruments, stick around. We're breaking it all down right here on Explaining Everything. Clapping has its roots in ancient civilizations, specifically in ancient Greece and Rome. Back then, audiences didn't have Twitter to hype up their favorite gladiators or poets. Instead, they relied on applause to signal approval. In Rome, applause was a structured affair. It wasn't just a chaotic frenzy of hand-smacking. Oh no, the Romans had levels of clapping, ranging from polite finger snaps to outright raucous palm bashing. The loudest applause was reserved for emperors and gladiators who didn't, die. In Greece, the theater-goers clapped to praise the gods through performances. Imagine sitting in a massive amphitheater and realizing everyone's clapping not just for the actors, but for Zeus, who, by the way, is not in the room. Awkward? Maybe. Effective? Definitely. Over time, clapping became less about appeasing celestial beings and more about appreciating good storytelling or a really impressive sword fight. Here's the thing about clapping. It's simple, it's loud, and anyone can do it. No tools required. Scientists suggest that clapping is a form of nonverbal communication that activates parts of the brain related to social bonding. Translation? It's like a socially acceptable way of yelling, "Yes, I love this," without scaring the neighbors. There's also the added bonus of sound amplification. One person clapping is a polite acknowledgement. 1,000 people clapping? That's a statement. A room filled with applause creates an energy boost that's contagious. Suddenly, you're clapping along because everyone else is, and you don't want to be the weirdo sitting silently like a disappointed chaperone. Fast forward to the 18th century, and clapping had truly cemented its place in culture. The opera was all the rage, and audiences were not shy about expressing their opinions. If a performance was exceptional, they clapped, cheered, and sometimes threw flowers on stage. If it was terrible, booing, hissing, and possibly a rogue tomato made their debut. Basically, clapping became the Yelp review of live performances. Theatrical applause wasn't just for performers, though. Audiences clapped for other audience members. Enter the clack, a hired group of professional clappers. Yes, you could literally pay people to make sure your play didn't flop. Imagine being at a Broadway show today and someone leans over and whispers, "I'm a freelance clapper. $20 per standing ovation." These days, clapping isn't limited to theaters or concerts. It's everywhere, from applauding after an airplane lands, which is an entirely separate debate, to giving a round of applause at awkward office meetings when the PowerPoint presentation finally ends. And let's talk about the standing ovation. It's the gold standard of applause. Once just reserved for monarchs and revolutionaries, now anyone with a decent karaoke performance can get one if the crowd is tipsy enough. It's like applause, but with extra leg effort, and it screams, "This was worth leaving my couch for." In the age of memes and TikTok, clapping has evolved even further. Who hasn't seen the iconic clapping emojis used for dramatic emphasis in a comment like this? Clapping has entered the digital world, and somehow it's even louder there. At its core, clapping is an instinctive way to share joy, approval, and a sense of connection. It's primal, like smiling or laughing. Except instead of just using your face, you get your hands involved and maybe burn a calorie or two in the process. Clapping is also versatile. It can be polite, thunderous, or sarcastic. You know, the slow clap. It fits any mood, from great job to really? That's your big idea? Clapping is also oddly competitive. If you've ever been in a group where one person starts clapping louder and faster than everyone else, you've witnessed this phenomenon. It's as if they're saying, "I liked it more than you did." And then there's the person who starts the standing ovation, desperately hoping everyone will join in. Bold move. Will clapping ever go out of style? Unlikely. It survived millennia, from toga-wearing Romans to fans cheering on Beyoncé. Sure, technology might innovate how we show appreciation. Imagine holographic claps or virtual reality ovations, but the essence will stay the same. We'll always want a way to say, "This moved me, and I need to make noise about it." So the next time you clap, whether at a concert, a movie, or because someone told a decent joke, remember, you're participating in a tradition older than Shakespeare, Beethoven, and possibly sliced bread. It's a little weird, undeniably human, and endlessly satisfying. If you enjoyed this dive into the clapping phenomenon and want more quirky explanations, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating stories. And if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.